It begins as a whisper, a joke made at your expense, a tone shift in the room, a glance too long, a smile that carries something darker underneath. And most people, they ignore it. They brush it off. They tell themselves it's not worth reacting to until it happens again. Louder, sharper, more public. And by the time they feel the need to respond, it's too late, because disrespect ignored is disrespect approved. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. In a kinged world obsessed with power, reputation, sonche, and dominance, he knew respect isn't something you earn. It's something you enforce. And when someone disrespects you, your next move determines everything. Not just what they think of you, but what everyone watching learns about how to treat you from now on. Because disrespect is rarely personal at first. It's a test, and if you fail it, you're not just marked as weak, you're marked as safe to disrespect again. So, when someone disrespects you, do this, not later, not in theory, immediately. You go silent, but not passive. Because here's the first Machiavellian law of handling disrespect. The person who reacts emotionally loses status, but the Gelmlarts, person who withdraws strategically, becomes unpredictable. And so unpredictability creates fear. Silence doesn't mean ignoring it. It means withdrawing energy. You don't laugh it off. You don't pretend to miss it. You don't explain how it made you feel. You make them feel your absence in your gaze, in your tone, in your refusal to keep the energy flowing. It's a hard pause in the rhythm they were trying to create. A sudden black hole in a conversation they expected to control. Because disrespect only thrives when it gets feedback, like laughter, defensiveness, or appeasement. But when it's met with cold stillness, it reveals itself for what it is, a cheap, desperate grab at dominance. Machiavelli never struck first. He watched. He allowed his enemies to reveal themselves fully, confidently, before ever responding. And when he did, it was never with apology. It was with precision. That's your next move. Mirror back the violation, not through insult, not through retaliation, but through question. Because when someone disrespects you, they expect an emotional reaction. They want to trigger your insecurity. What they don't expect is exposure. So, you hold eye contact. You tilt your head slightly, and you say with surgical calm, "Did you mean to say it that way? Or, you sure you want to repeat that? Or, that sounded personal. Want to clarify before I respond?" Each line is a controlled NR incision. You're not denying the attack. You're inviting them to make it again, on record, to double down, to make their aggression public. Most won't, because most people who disrespect you aren't bold. They're opportunistic. They test boundaries to see who will check them. And when you meet their move with silent tension and cold clarity, they begin to doubt their position. And that doubt is what you want. Not revenge, not drama, doubt. Because the person who causes doubt in others, who makes people hesitate, stumble, correct themselves, around them doesn't need to demand respect. They radiate it. But here's where the game gets deeper. Most people can handle one moment, one confrontation. What they can't handle is consistency. If someone disrespects you once and you handle it, good. But if they sense that the door is still cracked, if your energy goes soft again, later they'll test it again. So the third step is this. Reframe the relationship immediately. You don't return to normal. You don't pretend nothing happened. You redraw the line into how you speak, how you show up, and how unavailable you now become. Machiavelli knew that public punishment, when justified and timed well, not only ends a threat, it educates the room. So if the disrespect happened in front of others, Let your new posture echo louder than any comeback could. Withdraw your warmth. Sharpen your language. Refuse their invitations. You don't need to announce the shift. Let them feel it. This is what separates the respected from the ignored. It's not dominance through intimidation. It's presence through principle. You've shown the room. I am not available for that, and I won't explain myself to make you comfortable about it. And now the social current flows differently. Others take note. They become cautious. Your name becomes one they speak with more calculation, less ease, because the person who cannot be disrespected isn't the loudest. It's the one who knows exactly what to do the moment it happens. Not with noise, but with controlled silence, piercing clarity, and total refusal to make comfort more important than self-respect. That's how you end it before it begins. Not with anger, not with ego, but with exactly what they didn't expect. Discipline, distance, and total command of the room. Disrespect is never isolated. It's a signal, a probe, a calculated flick too. See how far they can reach before you push back. And once you allow one violation, like one insult masked as humor, one subtle dismissal, or one fake compliment laced with venom, you've taught everyone in the room what your silence is worth. And Machiavelli would tell you once they see you as easy to violate. Regaining control costs double the effort. So, in the aftermath of that first encounter after you've gone, still called the moment without emotion and distanced yourself, what happens next is just as important, because people will test boundaries. Again, not in the same way, but in subtler, more corrosive ways. They'll see if you truly meant it. They'll joke, again, just with a smile this time. They'll exclude you from a decision and call it an oversight. They'll make a passive comment and watch your face for even a flicker of hesitation. That's when you make your second move. Reinforce the frame through disproportionate consequence. Machiavelli's philosophy wasn't built on fairness. It was built on effectiveness. And he understood something few people today are willing to accept. If the punishment is equal to the offense, it's forgettable. But if it's greater, it becomes unforgettable. You're not reacting emotionally. You're sending a message. You don't get to play with me twice. So when they cross the line, again, you go colder, not louder. If they made the mistake publicly, you return the message publicly, but strategically, not through insults, through surgical rejection. They make a comment. You respond by pausing, looking them dead in the eye and addressing the rest of the group. Instead, they ask you a question. You respond with a single word answer, then shift your attention. They try to reclaim your warmth. You give them the social equivalent of a closed door, polite, formal, distant. It's not aggression, it's removal. You're not trying to defeat them. You're demonstrating something more chilling. They've lost access. That's what hurts people the most. Not being insulted, but being ignored by someone who used to acknowledge them. And this is where most people fail. They want to be liked. They want to smooth things over. They want to believe that being the bigger person will earn them admiration. But Machiavelli would laugh at that, because respect isn't earned through forgiveness. It's earned through calculated consequence, delivered with silence, not anger. And here's where your real leverage begins. People are watching always. They saw the moment of disrespect. They saw how you responded. And now they're watching too. See if you will revert, or if you meant what you projected. This is your opportunity to recast your image, because image, according to Machiavelli, is more powerful than truth. And your image, post-conflict, becomes your armor or your exposure. You want your silence to be, I Read as he doesn't tolerate that, or she won't engage if disrespected, or you only get one chance with them. When your name starts carrying those associations, everything changes. People speak more carefully. They stop joking around in your direction. They introduce you to others with terms like no nonsense, sharp, intense. That's your new power. You didn't ask for it, you built it. One surgical response at a time. But there's one more layer, something deeper and more difficult, because some people won't be stopped by public shame. They don't care about approval. They want your reaction. They thrive on destabilizing others, on being the disruptor, on testing boundaries for sport. And when these types meet someone like you, they either escalate or should retreat entirely. If they escalate, that's your cue for the third level of response. Leverage their disrespect against them. You don't escalate emotionally, you escalate socially. If there's someone with influence or reputation or a role, start framing them with surgical precision. Use their behavior against them loudly or subtly, but always with control. For instance, you might say, "That's an interesting joke. Do you use that one at work too?" Or if you talk to your friends like that, "I'd hate to hear how you talk to strangers." Or, "I'm surprised you said that out loud." You're not arguing, you're spotlighting. You're making them wear their own words in front of others. And that's when their confidence begins to shrink. Not because you overpowered them, but because you made the room. Remember what they really are: small, noisy, insecure. This is the power of Machiavellian retaliation. It's never loud. It's never rushed. It's measured, targeted, and executed with such calm precision that the other person doesn't even realize how badly they've just been checkmated. And the best part? You're still calm. You're still poised. You've let the disrespect hang in the air and then collapsed it into something they now own. That's how you build power in silence. Not just by refusing to react, but by making every disrespectful act a step toward their own exposure. And in doing so, you never chase respect again. Because now they all know you don't argue, you don't explain, you don't tolerate. You end it quietly, surgically, and permanently. What most people don't understand is this: disrespect doesn't thrive on boldness. It thrives on safety. Not your safety, but theirs. They insult you when they think you won't respond. They mock you when they believe there will be no consequence. They push because they're confident you've never pushed back before. That's the fuel of most disrespect, the assumption that you won't do anything. But Machiavelli knew something different. He understood that power isn't about striking often. It's about creating the sense that you could, that at any moment you might choose to respond in a way they didn't expect and won't be able to contain. This is the next level. You become a threat without ever threatening. You don't need to say a word. You just need to become harder to predict. From now on, when someone disrespects you and you've already made it clear where the boundary lies, your job is not to get them to like you. It's to make them uncertain of you, not scared, not intimidated, just unsure. Did I go too far? Why is he so quiet right now? What's she thinking? Why didn't they respond like before? That uncertainty becomes your shield, because the person they're unsure of is the person they start avoiding. This is why Machiavelli warned against being too transparent, too consistent, too readable. A ruler who is easy to understand becomes easy to manipulate. But when you're silent, unreadable, and controlled, when you respond once, cold and surgical, and then retreat again behind stillness, you become an anomaly. And in social settings, anomalies shift dynamics. People begin deferring to you, not out of fear, but out of instinct, because the mind naturally protects itself from what it doesn't fully understand. So you lean into that. You don't talk as much as others. You observe longer than is comfortable. You say less than expected, but when you speak, every word lands. Now here's the psychological twist. Most people think respect comes from being liked. It doesn't. It comes from being felt. When you walk in a room and the air changes, when people lower their voices, shift their posture, and adjust their tone, that's not popularity, that's presence. And presence is built through contradiction. You don't always respond, but when you do, it cuts. You don't need to dominate, but you refuse to be crossed. You don't ask for respect, but you remove access the moment it's violated. That's how your energy becomes a warning, a silent, unspoken consequence wrapped in calm control. But there's a final transformation, something few ever master. You stop reacting to disrespect as if it's personal. You start treating it as information. This is where your mind separates from the average person. They hear an insult and feel pain. You hear it and think, there's the weak spot in them. They mock you and you don't. Flinch because you see through it. You read the need behind the disrespect. Insecurity, jealousy, fear, projection, desperation to assert control in a place. They feel none. That's the final twist of power. When someone disrespects you, it reveals them, not you. So you log it. You remember it and you move forward, not by forgiving, but by calculating. Do they still get access to you? Do they need to be isolated publicly or privately? Do you use them to send a message to others or let them disappear quietly? You're no longer playing emotional chess. You're orchestrating position. And as Machiavelli taught, the best position is one where others fear violating your boundary, even when you're not there. That's when you've won. Not when people admire you, not when they praise you, but when your absence carries the same weight as your presence. Because the people who never get disrespected aren't always the loudest. They're the ones who've made disrespect too expensive. Not through rage, not through revenge, but through disciplined silence, disproportionate consequence, and unapologetic self-enforcement. You don't need to play the social game like they do. You play the power game. And when you do, everything changes. People hesitate before crossing you. Their jokes shift tone. Their words soften. Their energy recalibrates. Because now they know you're not here to fit in. You're here to be respected. And if they can't do that, you'll leave them in silence they won't recover from. There's a moment in every power dynamic, subtle but undeniable, when the room recalibrates around you. It happens after the silence, after the boundary, after you've made it clear without a word that you're not the kind of person to cross. It's not just that people stop disrespecting you. It's that they stop thinking they could. And that's the why final layer Machiavelli would insist on. You don't simply respond to disrespect. You transform what you represent in their mind. Because in the end, power isn't about your reactions. It's about what people assume you do, even if you say nothing at all. You become someone whose limits are unknown, whose silence doesn't signal submission but preparation, whose calm isn't friendliness but containment. And here's what most miss. Once you've enforced a boundary once, that's not the end. That's your reputation test. Not just with the one who disrespected you, but with every single person who witnessed it directly or indirectly. Because the moment someone crosses you publicly, everyone else is watching too. See if your value is self-regulated or audience-dependent. If you hold frame under pressure without exploding, apologizing or seeking validation. They feel something they can't describe. Ibis, certainty. And certainty is the rarest trait in a world addicted to approval. Now, this doesn't mean being cold or hostile. It means your warmth is now a choice, not a default. You smile when you want to. You speak when you decide, it's valuable. You give access only to those who've proven they don't take it for granted. This is how you become untouchable, not through physical power, but through energetic value. And energetic value is built by subtraction. You subtract things like reactivity, neediness, over-explaining, justifying your presence, and tolerating even 1% of disrespect masked as just a joke. That's when you start to attract a new level of response. The room slows when you enter. People don't interrupt you mid-sentence. They repeat your words later because they were measured and few. You're no longer someone navigating social terrain. You are the terrain. And here's where Machiavelli's most brutal insight comes in. Men must be either respected or eliminated. In modern terms, either they understand your value or they no longer get access to it. It's not about one's revenge. It's about consequence without drama. The people who disrespect you once and then never again aren't the get problem. They're the lesson. But the ones who do it again subtly, repeatedly, manipulatively, those are the ones you do not correct. You vanish from their world. Or worse for them, you rise in power while they fade into irrelevance. Because in silence, you exposed them. And in distance, you reminded them. You were never accessible. They were simply being tolerated. And once you've made this shift, your entire posture to the world changes. You no longer try to be liked. You no longer respond to indirect attacks. You no longer feel the need to prove that you're the bigger person, because now you've realized something Machiavelli knew centuries ago. You never have to defend what you won't allow to be touched. They can't disrespect you if they can't reach you. They can't undermine you if you never stood on their approval to begin with. They can't provoke you if your silence makes them question their own status. This is the apex of psychological dominance. Not war cruelty, not pride, but control. Control over what you react to. Control over what energy you return, and control over who even gets the opportunity to see your reaction in the first place. That's how kings moved in Machiavelli's world, and that's how you move in yours. Not with rage, not with noise, but with a presence so disciplined, so exacting, that violating it once is all they'll need to remember. Because after that moment, you don't just get respect. You become the standard by which all others are measured. Now, there's one final move. The moment when someone has disrespected you and they realize it was a mistake. You don't punish them. You don't forgive them. You do something more powerful. When someone disrespects you and then realizes they've made a mistake, what do? This is the question that defines legacy, because at that point, you're no longer reacting to the attack. You're shaping the narrative. You're sculpting perception. You're deciding who they become in the aftermath, and more importantly, who you become. Here's the final Machiavellian truth. Mercy can be more terrifying than punishment, because mercy, when delivered without warmth, carries with it a chilling message. You are no longer a threat to me. That's how you finish the game. After you've enforced the boundary, after you've withdrawn your presence, after you've held frame in complete stillness and let the silence echo. They may come back. They may apologize. They may overcompensate. They may laugh nervously, try to go back to normal, test whether the ice has melted. And here, this is your moment of ultimate control. You don't lash out. You don't smile, you don't comfort, you simply remain unchanged. No bitterness, no resentment, no need to explain why. You're different now. You let them walk around in the new reality you've created, where your gaze no longer searches for their presence, where your energy no longer adjusts to accommodate theirs, where they are no longer a variable in your world, but a ghost drifting through it. This isn't pettiness, it's power by absence. Because nothing is more disturbing to someone who tried to shake your frame than finding out you were never depending on them in the first place. You were never looking for validation, never seeking belonging, never operating under their rules. That's the final cut. When they realized that not only did their disrespect fail to wound you, it elevated you. It made you sharper, more respected, more distant, and ultimately more untouchable. This is the role Machiavelli would have you play, not the vengeful prince who punishes every slight, but the silent architect of consequence, someone who allows others to betray themselves in public while remaining calm, calculated, and just out of reach. The one who never demands respect because everyone already knows. You only make that mistake once. Now, in the aftermath, you'll notice something strange. Your name starts circulating in whispers, not because of drama, but because of your restraint. People begin to say things like, "He doesn't say much, but when he does," or "I've never seen her lose her cool," or "You don't want to be on their bad side," or "Careful. With that one, they don't come back around." That's what you've built. A reputation so solid that people self-correct around you. They double-check their tone. They review their phrasing. They ask themselves if you're watching, not out of fear, but because your energy now comes with a weight. And from that point forward, you no longer have to fight for respect, because you've proven something rarer than dominance. You've mastered selective presence. You show up when you choose to. You speak when it matters, and when you leave, whether from a conversation, a dynamic, or a relationship, they feel it. Because the person who cannot be disrespected is not the loudest in the room. They are the one whose attention is no longer guaranteed. So let them talk. Let them guess. Let them wonder what you'll do next, because they already know. If they cross the line, and you won't explain, you won't argue, you won't chase, you'll simply disappear. And that silence will echo louder than any comeback ever could forever.